So far this year, LaMelo Ball and James Wiseman have been getting a lot of attention. But who exactly is the best NBA rookie this season? I'm going to rank the top 10 rookies based on their performance until now, and then at the end of the video, I'll go over who I think will win the Rookie of the Year award, so make sure to watch all the way through. Okay, let's get started. Starting us off here at number 10, we have Isaac Okoro, who was drafted number 5 by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me just say right off the bat that this NBA draft was kind of below standards, and even though there are rookies with all-star potential, there just isn't anyone who's been really standing out lately. That's why some of the people on this list might not look that crazy. Okay, back to Isaac Okoro. While playing 35.8 minutes per game, Okoro is the only rookie in the NBA playing over 30 minutes a night. Yet he isn't top 10 in points or rebounds, and just barely clocks in at 9th in assists among his class. So how is it that a player with such low stats is getting so much playing time? Well, Okoro obviously isn't the best offensive player, averaging only 8 points per game. However, his constant effort on both ends of the floor and willingness to play within his role has made him an effective player each night for the Cavaliers. His length and great defense in the passing lane is one of the main reasons why the Cavaliers force the most turnovers in the league. Obviously he has a lot of raw talent, but in comparison to some of the other rookies this year, I wouldn't rank Isaac Okoro anything higher than 10th. The next person we have on this list is Payton Pritchard, who had been a surprisingly useful six-man coming off the bench for the Celtics before his injury. In the 14 games that he did play, Payton averaged 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, while shooting close to 50% from the field. That's really good for a 28th draft pick if you ask me. There was a lot of doubt about him when he was coming into the league because of his short height and athleticism. But he's been able to prove all of that wrong by showing his ability handling the ball and also being able to score around the rim. Obviously he's not the best guard in this class of NBA players, but I personally think that Payton Pritchard could develop into a really solid 6-man in the upcoming seasons. The 8th player we have on this list is Desmond Bane, and this might be a name that you're not familiar with. Bane was the 30th pick in the draft and plays for the Kings right now. And clearly he was one of the steals of this draft. He's averaging close to 10 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist while playing around 22 minutes per game. What's really good about him is his efficiency and how well he understands his role. He's shooting 48% from the field and 50% from 3, which is something you don't see from just anyone. I personally don't see him as someone with that much of a high ceiling, and I think it's pretty unlikely for him to become a star or the face of a franchise. Bane is a 3-and-D player who understands his role and is able to execute it. So far into the season, when he's on the court, he's been able to provide solid defense and also have an impact on the offensive end, which is more than enough to get Desmond Bane on this list. The next player is Deni Avdija, who's probably one of my favorite rookies for a couple of reasons. Although his averages may not be something that will make you go wow, he's still a huge part of the Wizards team. If you're starting a rookie for most of your games, there's probably a reason behind it. He's been playing around 23 minutes per game, and honestly he's doing pretty well. Avdija is averaging just under 8 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds, and again, these aren't numbers that exactly surprise anyone, but hear me out. He's shooting a crazy 48% from the field and an even crazier 47% from 3-point range, with around 6 shot attempts per game. He also has a lot of impact on the defensive end of the court for the Wizards, which is something that's hard to tell without actually watching his games. Why am I giving him more credit than his stats deserve? Well, because Deni is playing on a team alongside huge usage guys like Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, and we all know that those guys have the ball in their hands almost all of the game. So obviously that makes the ceilings for how well Avdija could perform. I'm sure that his percentages would drop a bit if he took more of a role, but I think it'll end up developing him into an all-star instead of just a role player. Even as a role player that he is right now, Deni Avdija is one of the top rookies in this class. At number 6 is Patrick Williams, who is a player who came into the league NBA ready and has fitted well as a starter for the post. So far, he's been keeping it really efficient while dropping almost 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. I think that he's one of those rookies who needs to increase his usage a bit more by attempting to be more present in the team's offense. Williams is playing around 26 minutes per game and he only has around 7 shot attempts. And I find that to be extremely low considering how he plays for the Wolves, who don't really have any other solid options other than Zach LaVine. Obviously he has great potential, and if he continues to grow his game, he'll be more than a good player in a couple of years. but I wouldn't rank Patrick Williams that high just yet because there are players who are doing much better. Coming in at number 5 slot, we have Cole Anthony, who's doing really well for a 15th overall pick. With the injury that Markelle Fultz picked up at the start of the season, Anthony started seeing a lot more minutes on the court, and well, he's been able to prove that he could be a starter point guard. Looking at his last 10 games, he has averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, while shooting 43% from the field and 47% from 3. It's not that often that a player's 3-point percentage is higher than their field goal, especially when they're a point guard. Also notice that Anthony seems to be the kind of player who could come in and take over a game's offense, which shows how much potential he has and how good he could become in a couple of years. There's often those stories we hear from players who got their big breaks because of someone else's injury, and I think that may also be the case with Cole Anthony. I'm sure that we're going to hear his name a lot more in the coming years, but for now, I'm not going to rank him anything higher than 5th because of how recent his developments have been. Up next, we have Tyrese Haliburton, who I personally see as the steal of the draft. He's at or near the top in almost all of the important rookie statistical categories, exceeding expectations that everyone had of him. He's played so well so far that he's even one of the top candidates for the Rookie of the Year. As of right now, Tyrese is averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists while playing an average of 29 minutes per night. He's one of those players who had started contributing to his team as soon as he stepped foot on the court. A lot of other rookies take time to adjust to the NBA style of play and don't usually find their role on a team in the first couple of weeks. But that wasn't the case for Tyrese. So why did I rank him 4th then? Well, because I don't personally see what sets him apart from other players. He doesn't really have a certain skill in which he's better than most other rookies in, and that makes it a lot harder to predict what his potential is as a player. Still, Tyrese has been a huge contributor to the Kings and might be one of the things this franchise has to look forward to. Coming in at number 3, we got the 1st overall pick Anthony Edwards, who's been a dominant player and explosive scorer, but I think we can all agree on the fact that his performance is a little bit under par for a first pick. He's averaging close to 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, which are decent numbers for a rookie. But what makes this stat sheet not that good for Edwards is his shooting percentage. He's shooting only 37% from the field and 33% from 3, which everyone can agree isn't the best. But beneath all this, there's been signs of improvement for Edwards. It seems like in his past couple of games, he has been able to figure his game out a bit more and kinda lost the rust that he had. Looking at his last 6 games alone, he's shooting 47% from 3 with 6 attempts per game, which is a great sign. Even though Edwards has been coming off the bench for the majority of the season, the Timberwolves are slowly moving him into the starting lineup, and that gives him more opportunity to prove himself. Personally, I think he'll become a lot better when Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell start playing again, because that way there's going to be less pressure on him. If it wasn't for his team, I would have ranked him higher. No matter what though, Anthony Edwards has been playing more than decent basketball, and his potential is something that I'll be looking forward to in the following years. Coming in at number 2, we have James Wiseman, who's been an absolute beast for the Warriors so far. He's dropping 12 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 1 assist in the 20 games that he's played. But don't let his not so crazy stat sheet fool you. Wiseman is the type of guy that you want along with Stephen Clay. He's a solid contributor on both ends of the floor with a 7'6" wingspan. And he's the reason why the Warriors are being ranked 3rd in contested shots per game and 5th in deflections. With the great coaching staff that the Warriors have, it's scary trying to imagine how good Wiseman would be in 5 years. If he starts to develop his shot a bit more and be more like a modern day big, he'll become an all-star real soon. But forget about the future, even looking at it right now, he's playing like someone who's been on the Warriors team a couple of years, and he understands his role perfectly. His field goal percentage as of right now is a little over 50%, which goes to show his shot selection abilities. The only thing that he could improve is his free throw percentage, because so far he's shooting only 60% from the line. Aside from that though, there isn't really much more left to be said about James Wiseman. We finally reached the number 1 person, and you probably know by now that he's no one other than LaMelo Ball. Before coming into the league, there were a lot of people who thought he was overhyped and would underperform just like his brother Lonzo. But well, the exact opposite happened. A couple weeks ago, LaMelo broke the record for the youngest player ever to record a triple-double, and is also one of the 2 rookies to have multiple double-doubles. This says tons about how versatile he is on the court and how he could be useful in more than one way. He's averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists so far into the season. And what makes LaMelo's performance a lot more impressive than some of the players on this list is the fact that he's only started once so far. And putting up those numbers as a bench player is something that not everyone can do. If you've been keeping up with NBA news, you might have also noticed that Ball leads rookies in assists, rebounds, and steals. Meanwhile, as a scorer, he only trails Anthony Edwards in total points scored. If you ask me, the amount of things that LaMelo's accomplished with such short playing time is absolutely phenomenal. And in my opinion, he has easily been the best and most productive rookie thus far. So now that I showed you who are the top 10 rookies so far and why, let's go over the question of who's going to win NBA Rookie of the Year. In my personal opinion, it's going to be between Tyrese Haliburton and LaMelo Ball. James Wiseman could have also been a candidate, but he's not as versatile as these 2 players and hasn't had the same impact for his team. So who is it going to come down to? Well, I'm going to have to go with LaMelo Ball simply because he's putting up better numbers while playing less minutes. And I'm sure that makes it a pretty easy decision. If you enjoyed this video, I have another one about the MVP, which is going to be up on the screen in about 10 seconds, and you have to watch it. If you made it this far into the video, you might as well go ahead and subscribe so that you'll be able to get more videos like this. And I promise you, there aren't that many people making these. So if you want to see content that's found nowhere else, you should subscribe. Well, that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video.